African creatives are finding their voice and asserting their agency through this new digital, connected, and virtual world. Their work and expressions are reaching across all divides as they interrogate the past and reimagine what it means to be an African today. Join me, Njeri Wangari, as I engage these creatives, thinkers, makers, and builders for candid conversations on how they are weaving their own thread in this new Africa. Welcome to the Kenyan Poet Podcast. But coming back to you, Rehema, I'm sure by now you've found the letter. So I think we'll start with the email that you wrote to him and his response.
I don't have it now, actually.
Oh, okay.
But
you can read the response, yeah? Okay.
So he said, Kure jokio mashatha, ni gatho ni marua maku ma kufucia, na no mo twitaga imĩrũ. Nĩ ndona nĩ ũĩ kwandĩka Gĩgĩkũyũ, reke naniĩ njogothe macokio na Gĩgĩkũyũ. And that's how it started.
Okay. So email is called Marua Magufucia.
But he said, na no mo twitaga imĩrũ. So I responded and said, nĩ ngatho kwa imĩrũ waku. That's what I said.
Okay. And that's one thing that I have come to love about how Professor Goge is able to find new words for technology. Because technology wasn't there, when a lot of the language was being invented, but he somehow found ways of creating new words around this technology. So I just wanted to, as we're speaking that, we're talking about you learning Kikuyu and you actually being able to speak that is evident. So apart from the lessons in the class with Mwalimu Mbatia, how else do you hone your skills? I know, yes, with correspondences with Professor, and how else do you hone your skills in speaking the language?
I talk Kikuyu with my teacher sometimes, my teacher in class, which is very helpful because now my classmates will be like, oh, what were you talking about? You know how to speak Kikuyu?
I didn't know that because I know you're it's an international school, right?
Yes.
Okay. And they don't have restrictions on you speaking.
No.
That's interesting.
It's a good language. So one of my teachers will try to speak Kikuyu. I'll correct them. It's very fun.
Oh, that happens.
Yeah. One of my classmates was learning Kikuyu with Mwalimu Mbatia, so we talk Kikuyu almost all the time. My other friends are like, how? But how? So I have a lot of friends who are asking me questions. When can I learn? How can I learn? How did you learn? Yeah, those questions. Mm-hmm. My piano teacher is a Kikuyu also, so we also find ourselves talking Kikuyu all the time.
Okay.
Those
conversations really helps in you improving your your mastery of the language.
Yes.
Okay. And are there books that you've been able to? I know Mwalimu, there's a book that you normally use by East African publishers. It's called Werutege Koyokega. Yes, and that has become a favorite. Although it's it's an upgrade of what we used, Mwalimu and I, because for us we used a book that was called Werutege Dhoma by Fred K. Kago. I still, I bought copies of those books. I still have them in the house, and I hold them with a lot of. I have a lot of nostalgia for those books. Your mastery of language has gotten to the point where you recently wrote a book. Tell us about that.
Okay, so the story is, I wrote it in early 2019. So that was way before I started learning Kikuyu, but because of publishing issues, it got published this year in April.
All right.
Being called an author is not something you get used to. It's very fun. It's very interesting. you get to speak to different people. My dad was telling his friends about my book, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, and you're just a tiny baby the other day." It's very funny.
Yeah.
Some of my friends in my class have already ordered the book, are already showing me pictures of them reading the book, which is very nice.
Okay.
So
What is the book called?
It's called The Children Who Saved the Mangroves.
Okay. And what is it the book about?
I can't tell you much, but it's about a boy called...
Oh yes, you need to buy the book.
Exactly.
I'll tell you where to get it.
It's called the book is about a boy called Kamau, and Kamau is from Kenya. He's enjoying his holiday, and then his dad wants him to go on a trip with him to Diani, and that's where I went when I was going with my dad, and I got the inspiration from that trip actually.
Right. Okay.
So he goes there, he learns about mangroves, and then he learns about how mangroves help the environment, and then he finds people cutting them, and that's where the story gets interesting.
And I don't want us to give out the whole story because then people won't buy the book.
Exactly.
So yes, the book, The Children Who Saved the Mangrove, is available on Amazon. So please go ahead and buy it there. But if you're in Kenya, I think how can someone who's in Kenya get the book?
Amazon.
On Amazon?
Yes.
Okay. But we will look for my friends over at TBC and see whether we can have that book stocked at TBC. How does it feel being called, you're 12 years old, being a child author, being an author at your age. How does that make you feel?
It's good. It's fun because I like reading books a lot. I have a whole library at home. So when you're reading books and you're like, oh my gosh, I should write one like this, I should write one like that. It's like, I managed to write a book. My goodness. It's nice. It's very nice.
Okay. But Rehema, you seem to have plans to translate the book that you've just published.
So the plan is to translate it into Kikuyu and Kiswahili. Kiswahili is also very important.
Okay.
So that people who don't understand English can read. People who don't understand English can read it in Kikuyu or Kiswahili. But that plan will go on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And that's I don't know if have you are you familiar with the book that Lupita wrote? It's called Sulwe.
Yes.
So it's the same thing that she has done, and it's really encouraging because Lupita has also gone into writing children's books. She wrote a book called Sulwe in English, but then she also did translations in Kiswahili and in the Luo. Yes, and the book is available at TBC. So, you're on the right path. You're on the right path. And being able to translate it so that someone who doesn't speak English or, someone who is able to read it in Kikuyu or even in Kiswahili, that would be very good. I have been your host, Njeri Wangare. And thank you. I'd love to hear your comments. Please write to me. Find me on any social platform at Kenyan Poet, whichever social platform it is, or write to me, Njeri Wangare at kenyanpoet.com. So until next time, bye-bye.